Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the broadcast here, and we got Summit 7 coverage coming at you. The qualifiers, of course, of the European region. We got two teams now, Mousesports versus Ninjas in Pyjamas here, best of 3. This is an elimination match. You lose this, you are done here in these qualifiers. You win this, you stay alive simply in this group stages GSL format. So looking forward to see what happens here. I am Bricky CPK. I'm going to be joined by my co-caster Tsunami today. Tsunami?
I mean, I'm doing good, but I can't speak for how NiP might be doing right now. You want to maybe... I mean, even if they did win, which, for those of you who are not aware, roughly 15 minutes ago, NiP just exited out of a grueling 70-minute match in which they had a pretty substantial lead in the Mr. Cat EU Invitational, and yeah, ended up losing it against Pro Dota. And now, mere minutes after being 2-0'd by Pro Dota, they have to come into this series. So yeah, I'm doing good, but if I were NiP, I can't imagine like the mental state that they must be in.
You have to have short-term memory. Like that's just simply what it comes down to. Yes, and I know that's easier to say than do, but again, if you're NiP, it's done. Hell, in that event, you know, looking at it real quickly, that was the winners final, so they are still in it. Actually, they're down in the losers bracket, but it's, you know, again, forget about it. It happened, whatever. Let's move on to our next event, because this is another pretty crucial one at that. This is an elimination match now. Remaining. What is a Summit 7 qualifier is a very prestigious event in itself. So you kind of, you know, refresh here. And they're going up against a solid team in Mousesports, but, you know, to be fair, Mousesports on the other side, it's not like they've been on a hot streak themselves. So both of these teams, you could argue, are in a fair amount of a cold streak here as of late. So we'll see which of the teams kind of break out of that, at least for the time being, here in this series. But hopefully, and I'm sure it will be, entertaining, to say the least. We got the IO first pick for Mousesports. With all that said, Magnus Rubik coming out for NiP.
Imba Spirit.
Radiant team ban.
Yes.
Well, I guess in an elimination match, maybe sticking to their main roster.
Well, so again, it's really interesting with NiP as of late. I mentioned this yesterday or whenever we cast them recently. Insania officially is part of the team. Cinderin, of course, dropping out. Insania taking over his spot. Mickey actually has been, quote-unquote, standing in for them in place of Qualifier, but he's been doing that for basically since Kiev, and in what's been now 10 matches, I want to say, in total that they've played. So, you know, it feels like that they're kind of trying out, if anything. And that's what I would believe is happening. And, you know, Mickey, obviously a great potentially up-and-coming mid player, as I've always stressed. Foxy, too, honestly, is one that I know is involved heavily in the Dota 2 scene now, and he does have the Han background, and I know is definitely potentially going to be a great player himself. So, again, just speculation, but I believe that's what's going on. But it seems like Mickey is more of their go-to mid right now, and the one that they're definitely sticking with, at least for the time being. Nothing official yet, but yeah, we'll see. But Ember Spirit is, of course, going to be the second pick, though. Mouse.
Radiant team.
And Mouse, they got their full roster. They've been this roster for a very long time, in fact, so.
Yeah, and you're going to need a well-oiled roster, a very a roster that's familiar with each other if you're going to run an IO first pick. That's a hero that I have not been seeing first picked by very many teams in like any region, to be honest, and occasionally it will get banned out by some teams that either just hate having to play against it or know that they've probably run it in scrims against various teams. But yeah, Mousesports going straight to it and not really plucking up a combo, and that's one of the advantages that IO has gotten in these more recent patches, is that you don't need to just snatch up an instant combo with your first two picks. IO is rather, there are enough flexible meta carries in the current pool right now that you don't need to have one go-to combo. You can kind of wait, see what the enemy draft is, see what they're banning out, see what they don't want to have to deal with, and then you can choose accordingly. And NiP, they seem to not want to have to go against anyone that, you know, excels with the pickoff. So they ban out the Batrider, they ban out the Legion Commander, and those are two heroes that really set up for relocate ganks. You start a duel, and immediately you're going to lose the duel because three heroes are going to converge on your location. Same thing with Batrider, you just lasso someone, and then all of a sudden, what is just a Batrider turns into Batrider +2 on your, you know, cores and stuff like that.
Absolutely, and IO's kind of had an interesting phase as far as his interest from teams post 7.0. Because I remember when 7.0 came out, you know, that was one of the things with the new bounty rune system. That is, people thought, you know, Wisp was going to really benefit from that. You know, the idea that he has a bottom, he essentially is going to get a free 2-charge bottle at least every single couple of minutes. But we never really saw that take off. I mean, he's always kind of been a niche pick, and every now and then, but. Never really took off because of that new system.
10 seconds
do you
remaining.
think that was maybe oversold in the beginning and that's why? Or is that still potentially something that Wisp is actually better than people give him credit for?
It's mainly because, yes, Wisp did benefit from it, but so did every single hero in the pool. And so the edge that Wisp had is, yeah, I mean, there will be more rune dominance, but with runes being all over the place, do you really need that kind of dominance? Because your carries don't need that constant sustain. In fact, when we've been seeing IO post 7.0, it's not the holding hands IO that we saw in years past. It was kind of like IO will, you know, maybe help out the mid lane for a little bit, then go jungle for a little bit, then, you know, mid game stick around with the offlaner, help with pickoffs with the tether move speed, and then late game IO will link back up with the carry and be like, you remember the good old times when I used to just overcharge you permanently? Well, let's bring it back. And so IO has kind of transitioned from being that permanent babysitter to being a more flexible hero, and that may be product of the rune changes, but not something enough to really solidify IO in that medic role.
10 seconds
Well, we got
remaining.
many picks to follow now. We got the Slaughter into Darkseer, Lina coming out, so Mickey gonna get his hands on Lina most likely. He has been playing that a fair amount, and of course that will be matched up against the Ember Spirit figure. In this case right here, but yeah, Mousesports still waiting to see. I mean, Ember Spirit and IO is obviously a solid combo in itself, but they don't really have that, you know, that catch. You mentioned the LC and the Batrider bans, but you know, things like their one position, perhaps an Ursa comes to mind right off the bat, or even that tiny route. I always like to bring up whenever I see the Wisp. Maybe a Slark. Okay, so
team ban.
necessarily as IO synergy like, but.
Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team pick.
A lot of history playing IO, so I was going to search that real quickly. But they go Bane, actually, with their final pick. So, again, I can still see that kind of going either way, though. And then, wow, a Snap Pick Anti-Mage. to finish it off. That's actually kind of interesting considering they did that into the Bane. Bane's good with that lockdown.
Yeah, both these picks are... Like, I would have understood a snap pick anti-mage for most supports, but like against Slark, anti-mage is always at the back of most drafters' minds as a carry pick because you just don't really care about what 90% of Slark's intimidation factor is. You just blink out of pounce, and everything else, Slark just isn't going to be very useful at catching an anti-mage and split pushing positions, but Bane can set up, and then once Bane gets a Nightmare, then you bring in the IO. But the problem is that, I guess, once you bring the IO, anti-mage can just blink out, unless if Bane has Fiend's Grip. So, neither of these drafts are, like, NiP, like, and with Magnus plus anti-mage, that's automatically a very, very good combo, whereas Mousesports, I don't really know. They pick all these combo heroes, like Bane is a combo hero, quote, but doesn't really have much to work with aside from relocate into Fiend's Grip. And then Io is also a combo hero, but also doesn't really have much to work with in terms of his carry potential. So, yeah, I kind of prefer NiP's draft here.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Bane pick, and the more I'm looking at it and as you're getting at it, it seems like, what is their follow-up to a Nightmare? What's their follow-up to him locking some... I mean, obviously just raw damage is, of course, good to have, but... Yeah, I mean, even with that Bane pick, their lockdown also does feel a little lacking. And so that anti-mage pick, now that you're really looking over the whole lineup, actually does make a lot of sense. Going to be put in the hands of Era here, I am sure. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm leaning much more towards NiP's lineup as far as just overall having a nice theme. And
yeah,
looking the stronger. It seems that, you know, even the Darkseer follow-up or with this vacuum wall combo, I mean, in itself it's strong, but they don't really have that follow-up to it, you know? He's going to vacuum people in, then what? Ember Spirit, I guess, you know, Fire Remnants in, but...
And even once you do go in, then you have to be concerned about Blink Crush following up on your vacuum or Blink RP following up on your vacuum. So there's very, like, you'll ideally get an early... I don't even know what you build on Darkseer this game because you're going to need survivability. NiP are very, very bursty with this Lina, with the Slardar. There is a lot of just like blink in and destroy a target power, and that's what Slark hates having to go up against. And so you need to keep your Slark alive, but at the same time your initiation is kind of lacking on Mousesports if you don't get any blink daggers, and I don't know how much farm maybe next time going to be able to get on this hero. I don't know if, like, well, no one's built items on out of Bane and Io, because I want to see if Spartan goes for an Iron Talon, because then maybe next time can maybe find a little bit more farm if he's supporting the Slark. But if they're running a tri-lane, like a full-on tri-lane, then this Bane's going to be very, very poor, and even the setup potential on an anti-mage is not going to come to fruition, and Bane's just going to be food for an anti-mage.
Back here, just doing the quick old restart of the game, I'm sure, and go here very shortly. And when the first of two best-of-threes coming at you today, obviously a little bit later of a start because of that series that NiP was just previously playing in that epic game number 2, and I saw, you know, my Twitter feed was kind of blowing up after that game finished, and for good reason. It was quite the epic finish. We happened to jump into it just to check to see what our status was going to be, and epic Roshan fire where just buybacks galore on either side, and, you know, in the end, Pro Dodo again not on top though. So NiP though, having that short-term memory, or has to at least, and forget about it and move on to this one now. But our next matchup. But yeah, Insania, he gets this comfortable Rubik.
Yeah, it's all of NiP seem like pretty comfort picks in general. Hani is definitely an operator on Slardar. Mickey, I don't know if I've seen too much of his Lina, but I know how good I know how good of his mid is in general, and the mid matchup is kind of, you know, it's proven to be more and more Lina favored as time progresses. Ember Spirit just has a hard time recovering from the initial levels if the Lina goes super aggressive, unless if Ember Spirit has someone to roam in on the mid lane like Ogre Magi or other popular, even though Ogre's not that popular anymore, but other roamers on the mid lane like Earth Spirit. But this game, I mean, Bane is the best option, but Bane is also not really that great. He's one of the tankier supports and one of the higher damage dealing supports, but it's very slow, and again, there's nothing you can really set up with a Nightmare. Yeah, these Europe teams have been slugging it out today. Even Alliance was playing in that. I think it was Epicenter qualifier or something like that. But yeah, Europe is they are enjoying. There was a little bit of downtime after Kiev when like no Dota was going on, but now it's just like it's straight into the veins.
But we definitely have been seeing some interesting changes, which I plan to talk about on my podcast that I release. Just
where is that? Where is that again?
You know, it's the cycle of defenseofthepatients.com.
Oh, okay.
Thanks be to you.
Anyways, we're ready to officially kicking it off in game number 1.
Yeah, no Iron Talon yet from Spartan, just getting a ward out right now. He still hasn't bought anything, but that does not really tell me much because it's possible that Spartan might just go for a straight bottle and just babysit Thug mid, which is what I was saying, that Ember Spirit kind of needs a babysitter early on. And IO is, you know, useful, but not going to really be able to bother the Lina. Just be able to secure Ember's farm is your best option.
Magnus scouting out Trixie right here, but gonna be moving out just yet. Still plenty of time though. Rotation's coming. Darkseer's just sitting up here in his own jungle. He does have the Iron Talon and a couple of tangos he got.
30 seconds to battle.
Darkseer gonna end up at the
Are they just gonna straight up abandon bot? Because, I mean, Darkseer does fine against Rubik Anti-Mage. It's a little bit intimidating, but I don't think you need to go straight into the jungle, unless if he's expecting, like, heavy Slardar rotations, but I imagine that Slardar will be spending a lot of time either mid or in the offlane bothering Slark, because as it is, against a Magnus, Slark has a tough time, but if you slap a Slardar on top of that, he has an even tougher time getting farm. So, yeah, I'll be keeping my eyes on Hani. He has boots straight out the base on this Slardar, so I imagine he's going to be moving around a lot, go figure.
Huh, yeah, really? Mouse here to decide this and give up that farm. The anti-mage. And Darkseer, you know, by himself, it might have been fairly difficult to prevent that, if any. Get him his own efficient farm, and it's going to be interesting to see how NiP also reacts to this now. Once they notice, it's like, wait, where's the Iron Shells? Where's Darkseer? He's not here, so...
Yeah, and Hani immediately migrates to the secondary jungle, which is where you'd assume a Darkseer would be, and so this works out for Mousesports, as Darkseer will almost certainly be able to pick up level 2 before Slardar discovers where he is, and then once you have Surge, you're pretty safe, so yeah, I can understand why Mousesports is opting for this. Now, if he comes back after level 2, or if he just sticks in the jungle, that will be an interesting decision.
Top lane. Magnus, who's a pretty aggressive position right here. You see Bane with that brain. Bane gets very good harassing support, you know, between his auto attacks and then his brain sap. It's good damage coming out. Obviously, the poor man's shield will mitigate plenty, but Trixie will have to be a little careful here. Combo up here. Keep an eye on that top lane the best we can to see what could be happening. But speaking of potential kills, middle lane, Hani has middle again. Waiting for some kind of setup.
Oh,
here.
wow. And they're just gonna burn Shrine. Skylark needed it during his jungling, which he's hit level 3, so he's on a good pace. But I guess it's not that important for Thug to get the Shrine. You've got an IO with a bottle mid. Took some harass from the Lina, but that's okay, because you can just regenerate both your heroes.
Yeah, this is one of those, clearly they've practiced this plenty of times before when its scrims are actually in games itself, in tournament matches, and it seems very fluid right now, the idea of using that Shrine so early on, and now Skylark makes his way back to the bottom lane. I mentioned he is level 3, and he's gonna now do the jungle off to the side over here. About 2 minutes to the bounty rune. I mean, the timing was like perfect, so yeah, clearly they got that down, but however, and yeah, he's gonna be like, oh, here you are, but he's level 1.
Yeah, but he's the one who needs to be afraid. Skylark could burn Surge if he wants to, force Insania to use oh, never mind, Insania's still level 1, so he didn't even have telekinesis. But Skylark's more interested in just securing his own farm. Like, Darkseer jungle paths used to be an art, as top lane Hani is just kind of migrating over there. Yeah, Darkseer, it used to be so systematic, and, like, it was maybe a relic of an older age when you were just like able to so strategically hit camp after camp after camp. Meanwhile, mid lane Mickey, a little bit of damage.
Right here, Ford coming in from Slaughter, but now actually Thug and Spartan the ones that perhaps need to be a little bit careful and will back it off. But yeah, providing some harassment, forcing out some region and a teleport. I'm bad with that.
Yeah, Hani hasn't been able to find very much. He's now having to sap level 2 from Lina because if you don't have Surge this late, which Crush.
Oh my god, Thug's control, he's gonna die right here, first blood! Oh, the searing chain's coming out, the final object's not enough, and that overcharge of IO.
Overcharge plus a bottle. Yeah, definitely. Because his Flame Guard was down, they knew it because that was what they were using aggressively on to Mickey, but now Radiant gets to shrine up, but Dire has to go all the way back to their base shrines.
Kind of amusing seeing a creep wave made with catapults as no one's there. They happen to fall back at the same time. It's not coming back though. It's fine there. Skylark could be in some trouble now. The roam in from Hani. Animate's gonna push that farm and not giving any information away. They're gonna go in. He is out of mana currently, so can't search just yet. Oh, but here we go. Spartan comes in an IO, and all of a sudden the Radiant side's the one running away. As that level 3 Ion Shell is something to fear, no doubt. God, the regen there coming out from the IO is just...
Yeah, it was a little bit of leftover regen from the fountain itself. Spartan went all the way back into the fountain, and yeah, that's definitely a very, very fortuitous timing for Spartan to come in, because without that, Skylark would have been dead to rights. No mana for the Surge, Soul Ring was on cooldown, but this is the advantage of sending the Darkseer straight into the jungle off the bat. You have such a high level Ion Shell that even Anti-Mage with Spell Shield can't really sustain much of it, and I don't think that Anti-Mage will be going for like a Vanguard straight off the bat just to get the regen, but he has this Ring of Health, and he's definitely, it's not going to be some Burning Midas stuff. He's going to need to get this Battle Fury, and once he gets Empower up and running with Trixie, which Trixie is also getting a fair amount done in his offlane, then Anti-Mage is going to have an easier time, but right now this is Skylark's lane.
Could you argue, actually talking about, you know, we saw an Anti-Mage game recently, I made the point, this is just one of the few, if not only heroes that's even relevant, that we see Battle Fury on still. It's like, you know, keeping the item alive, essentially. So, he has.
But do you need it with Empower?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a school of thought. It just depends on what the player wants. If he's going for Battle Fury, I imagine that Era wants to be left alone a lot of the time. So, in addition to Cleave, Battle Fury is just like, it's so satisfying for the amount of regen that it gives. Just the perseverance is like, it allows you to feel so much more confident tanking waves, going into the jungle, and you can blink freely without having to worry about your mana going down. Whereas if you don't have an item like that, you will run out of mana if you just have treads. So the way NiP are going to be building this Anti-Mage is in a way that they're like, okay, we are going to 4-man, Anti-Mage, you do Anti-Mage things. If Magnus and I link up, then yeah, I'll give you Empower, but don't bank on it.
Rotating somewhere up here. Make jungle a little bit. Like it. Over, been in the jungle. Slaughter finds himself at the top lane once again. Magnus, level Shockwave. Natural Burst coming out. Maybe if they find this Bane right here, waiting for that 6-minute bounty, we're gonna pick it up, but at what cost for him? In comes the Crush, and now maybe next time. Gonna be dead this time around. There's still no first blood bounty just yet, remember. This is probably gonna beat at this point. He's gonna Nightmare himself, try to destroy damage, but it's just not gonna happen. Thug's like, I kinda wanna help you, but I don't, because I'm low on life. Here comes out and try to change that Fate Bolt coming out though. That will scare them off in the end.
Madara?
So they're trying to catch him. The pounce coming in. Actually, look at the leash on Insania right there. The Shadow Dance pop for this. They're committing quite deep. No shrine to use, and that will be a successful kill onto the Rubik. So it ends up being a 1-for-1. Both support.
Yeah, I guess Bane accepted his fate. It was very strange that he turned around at the last second, because Magnus was all out of mana, and he doesn't have anything like an Orb of Venom or something, and based just off of move speed, Bane has like almost the same move speed as Magnus, but I thought that if he Nightmared the Slardar and then ran away from the Magnus, he may have been able to survive, but instead Bane was just like, oh, I could probably set up for the rest of my team to come in and try to go for a kill, and yeah, they end up getting it on the Rubik, so 1-for-1, but still, first blood goes the way of NiP.
Playing. Rotation's coming in. Trixie could be in some trouble. Bane. Level 3, but still that Brain Sap 2 has that Nightmare set up again, but like we talked about, you know, what is that really setting up for necessarily?
In this situation, Skewer is one of the few spells that can't break out of Pounce Leash, and so, I mean, most of the time Slark is able to, as we may see here. Oh, what the...
God. That was awkward. I don't know what it was, it just skewered before the pounce hit, like...
It was pathing, I would assume. I mean, like, he didn't go for like wasn't in melee. The problem was that he wanted to right click the Magnus to like get the angle, but the problem is if you complete the right click, then you're gonna go to sleep. And so he wanted to get close. Oh, spikes. No, never mind. Ignore my justification. It was lag.
Of course. And in cases like that, I mean, I can believe. That something just seemed off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the risk of running Bane whenever, you don't have an easy spell to pop off the Nightmare to prevent your right clicks from drawing it, but... Oh, jungle, Ember Spirit.
Trouble right here, Shrine is, or not Shrine coming in, but Io's coming in, basically is a Shrine, but no mana to be used right here. He does have his bottom.
Nick is 6.
Link on up, that crush the 1-2, Spartan falling down, the LSA is gonna miss, but the Laguna Blade to take out the Ember Spirit right there, and they also got the kill on a Spartan as well. Mickey ends up with that double tap there. And he's gonna get a nice little regen rune. Bottle up on top of that. So, Lina, his start's been so-so, but that's definitely going to start boosting him quite a bit.
Yeah, it's not as substantial as like a solo Ember kill, because keep in mind that Io and Ember have basically been splitting experiences. Io's level 4, Ember Spirit's level 5, and Mickey on the other hand is about to hit level 7, so that's another disadvantage of running a dual mid setup like this, but... If Thug's not doing too bad, that kill kind of sucks, but he got past the toughest part of this lane.
I want to stress on this too, and curious about your thoughts.
Oh, he's going aggressive.
He is going aggressive. He does have the IO coming, so that's why he's looking to play so aggressive. He knows Mickey doesn't have the Laguna Blade, not really much made to be had, and the Orb's going to eventually take him out in the end. Thug, though, ooh, that's another pause coming out. They are lagging.
Yeah.
But Thug, I mean, it's just a slaughter level. Yeah, I don't think he's getting it.
Yeah, and poor man's shield, Iron Talon, this Ember Spirit has 5 armor and overcharge, he's gonna be fine. But my thoughts, what did you want my thoughts?
What are your thoughts here? What's it about? Oh yeah, Lina, the next item that she's choosing to get here. Again, she's going the, I feel like we've still been seeing quite a bit of these Bloodstones, even with the talent changes ASAP though. And I don't know, maybe it's just coincidence or whatever, but it does seem like a lot of the times, the earlier death cell that happened on said hero that gets that Bloodstone, it takes so much away, and it's almost like you're losing so much of that net worth that you had earlier in the game, where instead, going to yields, I mean, that item's always going to guarantee to be there, it's going to help. Then you can progress into the Bloodstone to then ideally help, stay alive in certain situations, if anything. So, personally, I feel like I'm liking the idea of the yields being picked up first.
Yeah, ever since the level 10 talent chains, I've never been a fan of Bloodstone, like, continuing to be the go-to item, and China kind of flipped it. They were going Shadowblade occasionally first on Lina, which is also, interesting, but Yule's is a classic, and this game it's incredibly effective because it's going to be able to purge off Ember's Flame Shield, Flame Guard, and so chances are that given the start that Lina had, I wouldn't have been surprised if Mike would have gone for Bloodstone given a different matchup, but against an Ember specifically, the Yule's just has too much value. And a lot of the heroes, like Slark is going to lose a lot of damage if Lina defensively Yule's is. You can purge off the Surge on the enemies, you can break the Channel of Bane without having to spend LSA, so Yule's just has like so much utility this game, so I'm glad that Mike is going for it.
Bottom lane, he's got the headdress now, he's going to be finishing power dress, so he's kind of all over the place, a lot of early build-up, potentially rushing to battle fury, but he could be in some trouble right here. Rube coming out, Force coming in for Rubik. He's going to have a blink away, of course. Archer though in the backline, vacuums in, no wall combo just yet though. He's holding on to it, Fire Reminus to follow. Arrow though, doing a good job at juking the drive, and then wall comes out, but it's just too late. Incendium may fall, but a big double, a big RP in return, and on top of that with that shockwave, but not enough damage, just as somehow nobody's dead. Finally the mana point goes off, Skylark will fall, and they get the kill to Io. Now Thug gonna take that shockwave damage, and Era, who was the one that was in the bad spot initially, he comes up to clean up onto the Ember Spirit, and now Shadow Dance activated by Slark. Is he still out of here?
Laguna Blade.
Trouble, Dragon Blade connect, the Fateful, and everything he is Mickey. Laguna Blade just to absolutely guarantee. What a turn for ninjas in pajamas there.
Anti-Mage was so close to death. That wall of replica, if it had connected on Era, he would have been dead for sure because the mana break and Anti-Mage illusion does so much damage, but he just gets out by the skin of his teeth. The first TP is from Rubik, which is not the ideal TP, but they didn't know it was going to be a 3-hero rotation. They thought it was just going to be like, telekinesis someone, go away. But no. Rubik came in, and then Slardar came in, and then the big ol'... Oh, actually, I think Trixie came in third, but whatever the case, the RP was the deciding factor, and so really well played by Trixie to come in, and I'm glad that he leveled RP, because these days a lot of Magnuses who just sit in the offlane don't take it too early. They might even wait until like 10 and 11, but you see the power of RP even at just level 6 without a Blink Dagger.
It's kind of interesting, too, that I happen to just be talking about the item to animate that is being jumped right there. Because, honestly, if he was going more the quote-unquote traditional or, you know, the rushing the battle fury, he probably would have died right there. Because I gotta say, the helm, if anything, or the headdress, actually kept him alive. That minor region and provide stats on top of that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with it. And you can, like I said, he wants to be left alone. You don't go so regen heavy, so sustain heavy, unless if you're planning on not ever wanting to go back to the fountain and not ever wanting to have to like link up with your team. And so not only does he survive that gank, he participates, gets that last hit onto the Amber Spirit, which is a big boost for him. This anti-mage is level 10 right now. And so Era is going to be a problem.
Right there, Mickey hits the LS with the crush, and down goes Ember Spirit, and now Madara completely regretting this decision right here. So Spartan, they try to make a play that was clearly bait all the time right there. Good job relocating back out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the back end of it. So a nice timing, and they do get out safely. But yeah, again, Ember Spirit, he was playing very aggressive in the face of Luna. Clearly, an IL port was coming in, and it just backfired again, though. That's obviously what happened to the bottom lane. Now in the middle lane there, these IO ganks aren't necessarily working as planned for.
No, the NiP team, the NiP draft is very well equipped to turn around these relocates, because, I mean, even once Magus completes the Blink Dagger, which he's still a ways away, he went for the Arcane Boots first, and, you know, he's going to be farming up the jungle a little bit, but once he completes that Blink Dagger, then your relocate ganks almost become a liability, because you're basically telegraphing, hey, 2 of my heroes are going to be here, and a 3rd one's probably coming, if not already there, so Magnus immediately has like a big red light going off in his head. It's like, that is the place to be. And same thing with Slardar. He's also a little bit away from his Blink Dagger, but these are very, very important counter-initiation tools that are going to be a problem.
Radiant's top tower.
Bane, how's he been doing? He is level 6 now, so of course he has that Fiend's Grip, and we'll see if that can play. But again, one of the bigger downsides of that ability, as strong as it potentially is the channel.
Radiant's top tower.
Do that. Now, bottom lane, Crush on the Darks here open right here. Surges pop with the lift in the air.
Void.
Steals the Surge himself, and that will be a dead Darks here. The Mana Void even committed to guarantee it. So good execution again from NiP. They look like a pretty fluid team, and I gotta say I've cast them a couple of times over these last couple of days, and this is definitely the best that they've looked so far. Days have been moved. Good news for NiP fans, but Mousesports, they're in a hole, unfortunately, down 92. But net worth, it's 2,200 net worth. Stuff about here.
True, but you have to keep in mind that Mousesports have like an inherently more early game oriented team. Like Anti-Mage being this far ahead, Slark has been, oh, there's a Fiend's Grip, relocate. Bot lane.
Right here, Anti-Mage again. This time, they will actually get the kill. I guess 3rd time's a charm in the sense of relocating for the game.
Radiant's
that
bottom
should
tower
be the
is under attack.
end of fighting town.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Yeah, that worked out well. Definitely good position by maybe next time, because Fiend's Grip range isn't exceptional. At nighttime it works out a little bit better, and they were taking advantage of that. He was hiding in that route that you take to go to the side shop and was able to just pluck Anti-Mage mid-farm, but you're going to need to take these opportunities as they come, and you're going to need to like capture them, because not only are they behind, but like I said, Bane does not have the most farm. He's not going to have anything like an Aether Lens, or a Blink Dagger, or a Glimmer Cape, or any of those traditional setup items for Bane Fiend's Grip onto Anti-Mages. So that was a good pick, but Anti-Mage is going to be more well protected moving forward.
Coming out here for Mousesports, again, what's going on? He's been not really feeling figured out. Taken really everyone's gonna even the spectator site cleaned up, and game here is resume now. Does have that shadow amulet, and First Spirit is gonna be going that Veiled Discord build, so definitely one of these things where we've seen kind of back and forth on. Is this perhaps because of
Radiant's
the
middle
activity
tower
this
is
game? I
under
mean, they
attack.
really do seem to be go, go, go here.
Yeah, they're not going to win late, and so even though Magic Amber isn't ideal, unless they get this kill on Rubik. Yep, he's dead.
And no GP, so...
The problem is magic damage Ember is going to fall off substantially because Anti-Mage has Spell Shield, Rubik has Null Field, and so that is a lot of survivability against this magic damage oriented build. But the thing is that if you go right-click build, you don't deal damage, you don't get kills until like 30-35 minutes into the game, as opposed to 20-25 minutes into the game, and so by that time, Anti-Mage will be outpacing you heavily. So you picked an IO, you picked a ban, you want to get things done early. Even if it's not going to scale late, you don't think about late, you think about we're going to end this game before 40 minutes.
Bill has been purchased now, so on the way to doing that again, the Shadow Blade of Slark also going to entice that activity here. Traditionally, they do kind of feel like a team that is a go-go-go team of swords. You know, they like to fight constantly. Looking to do that yet again. Right, how about, speaking of that, though, Lina. So not only does he get the Yules, but he does have that Shadow Blade queued up. You're talking about that in the Benny's region, at least. Perhaps that's popular pickups on these Linas, and watching some Benny's doting.
Yeah, it's going to provide good initiation, because right now, NiP... I mean, they have solid initiation once these Blink Daggers come up and running, but then you kind of need the damage to follow up. And if Lina's kind of lagging behind, which typically a Yules is substantial enough, and I don't really know if there's anything really that critical that a Shadow Blade allows Mickey to do, but it's just a good scaling item on a Lina, and apparently he doesn't favor too much the Bloodstone early. It may be a build thing, or it may be just a player style. Either item would have been fine after the Yules, but I always prefer seeing the Shadow Blade because it's just a more flashy item.
Coming in. Mickey's scouting this, though. This is an Invisor, actually. They're going to jump on Skylar, I'm guessing. Yeah, the Yules opening. They'll say the land right after. Combo, Laguna played everything. Used that to get the kill. Nice. And the RP to pull in the air. I was wondering if that was going to hit. And it ended up doing so. That radius was absolutely huge. They're going to get Spartan as well. They're trying to save, if anything. Triple kill as a result in favor of Era, actually, on the Anti-Mage. So, NiP, that's a huge take for them. Dara here.
Yeah, he's kind of lost without a home here. Wants to get a pick off, but Rubik was really the only hero that he could successfully pick off, and Insania was long gone. It's ballsy for Trixie to go in on that RP, because I don't really know, like, any split second later, and it's possible that Ember may have actually been mid-slight and would have just dodged it. And that was the Blink Dagger reveal of Trixie. And he had all the information. That in his room from Lina was scouting out everything, but he went for it, and it definitely profited them big time. And yeah, that's a great way to show off your first Blink Dagger, as now Slardar has completed the second Blink Dagger on NiP.
Exactly. That up too. It's like you got one now out of the way. All right, now we know Magnus has it. Do they know Slardar has it, though? He hasn't shown it yet, and he's getting it right here. So look at what's happening middle lane. Again, RP is down, of course. They know this, but still not very confident, especially with the Slaughter now able to initiate. So there we go. There's a blink in from Slaughter. The jump on Evertree. The first is real, and he goes down the vacuum wall combination at the tower, though. So this is still a bad fight for Mousesports, and a huge successful fight on the other side for NiP as a double kill for Era and that Mana Void. Yeah, the combo was definitely real there.
This entire game, NiP is just like one step ahead of Mousesports, because Mousesports are doing all the right plays, but NiP just like, they have the right positioning, they have the right map awareness, they have the right warding, and in this case they have the right items. They would not have played nearly as aggressively as top lane. Hani's gonna go down, but let's see if Anti-Mage feels confident completing. Yeah, he's really... Era has nothing to be concerned about right now.
Got a blast here, so I'm moving up a little bit, helping that far potential even more. Battle Fury and go more the traditional route of the Yasha.
Homie's got a solid 2k net worth advantage on top of the Slark. It's not often that you'll see an Anti-Mage outpacing Slark this heavily at 19 minutes in, but yeah, Era's 7-1-2 right now. He's a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, and as you pointed out earlier, Mousesports, especially with the commitment of the Veil earlier on, I mean, they are really looking to have the early victory and kind of win that way, but man, they're down 15 to 5 hero kills, 5,200 net worth in favor of NiP, so that game plan is not really playing out so far as planned, although they have been trying constantly. But that's the thing, though, it's if you kind of commit to that strategy and it's not working, then you're just gonna fall that much further behind, and then all of a sudden your recovery chances pretty dire, really.
Yeah, because even their high ground defense is pretty miserable, to say the least. Io can't really burn out creep waves. In fact, Io's terrible at it. Bane can only take out one creep at most. You can put an ion shell, but that's like a long-term thing, and you can't really take it outside of your high ground. You have to do it once the creeps approach the high ground, and then same thing with Ember and Slark. It's kind of suboptimal. Bane? Oh, I see him.
Run. The tower kill at least. Oh no, it was tonight actually. Don't play by arrow right there, and they're gonna catch Io. Nothing that Madara can do. Meanwhile, at the bottom lane, Bane does go down, and Yules to throw up Skylark in the air, but they're just trying to run out, make it get out. Yes, he can. The vacuum's late. Insania's like, don't find me. Don't find me. Don't find me. They're gonna find me.
Yes. Oh, they pinged it. Oh my god. I did not know that was a juke spot. That's sick. It may just be working because I think it's working because it's nighttime. It just turned night, and otherwise the creeps would have spotted him for sure. But yeah, he gets out, and they get 2 successful kills. I bet Lena's almost wishing that she did have a bloodstone with the amount of kills that NiP's participated in.
Yeah, obviously in hindsight, that would have been nice to have. But to be fair, the Yules has been setting up pretty nicely, so that idea too.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Oh, Insania.
Going back in, but yeah, you gotta be careful with this. Oh, RP's ready. Thanks. Like, do I go? Do I go? Wanted to.
Give me the word, boys. Give me the word!
Give me the chance! He only gets one, though. The Dark Pack popped right after, so he can't tell. Looking to play on Madara. He's taking some good chunk of damage. However, Lena well into falling. And it's the first time in a long time that Mouse seems like they're on top of a fight, actually. They're gonna get the second in. Magnus right there. Yeah, that was
oh my god, the right clicks.
Bonnie will end up falling, actually, and Insania goes down, too. The Soul Survivors era, who's, oh, by the way, the top lane as he's slept her. He'll be fine, though, in the end. But yeah, finally a successful fight for Mouse, and that's gotta feel so good for them.
You can't really get away with these single hero RPs now. I mean, he almost had the 2 hero RP. If he had managed to get Thug also, that would have guaranteed been a 1 fight for NiP, but he got a little bit too overzealous. He saw the opportunity on the Slark. Possibly he was fearing for... Oh, Era? Might? Yeah. The problem is you need the Bane to set up on Era. Like, you'll have the Ember chains, but it's not going to be enough. You need Fiend's Rip. Otherwise, Anti-Mage can just get out of everything.
Especially once he gets his Manta Stone.
Oh yeah, then you definitely have nothing.
But yeah, about the not only was it a single, but again the Dark Pack was active, so he literally got out of it half a second later.
Exactly.
So it didn't even matter at that point. However, Madara can't have one bounce away defensively right. That Echo Saber work. The Silver Edge next to Lipsy. Perhaps amp damage against the likes of that Anti-Mage, take away that passive. Yeah, they got a lot. You know, that between him and Rubik, obviously only level 1 no field right now, but once that's maxed out, I mean, this
Skylark, bot lane.
Much magic damage, but bottom lane, they do find Skylark.
And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Eric goes for an Aghanim Scepter after completing this butterfly, because then there's literally nothing they can do, because he can purge off the Searing Chains with the Manta Style, and then once he has Aghanim Scepter, then like literally both of Bane's spells will stop him from doing anything. You can get the Nightmare off and then immediately purge it off of yourself as a Bane, but like by the time you do that, Anti-Mage has already blinked like 5,000 miles away, so yeah, he is very, very confident this game, as you can see by him going straight into this tier 1 tower.
He's level 18, by the way. He got that minus 1 second blink cooldown, so that's what, a 4-second cooldown here.
Oh wow, yeah, that's surprising. Very rarely do I see that. Most of the time it's always the attack speed, especially if you're the only carry. Maybe next time?
In this case, it's going to be Slash, but Ronnie going in on him maybe next time. Will be counted though, the Breeze Step comes out. Meanwhile, we see Magnus, TRP brings him in with a skewer, and they just both melt the IO and the...
Oh man, stolen Fiend's Grip.
The Laguna Blade actually takes out the Slark as well. And yeah, you mentioned he stole the Fiend's Grip actually, so using that to help block guys, guarantee some kills. Down goes Ember Spirit, Darkseer, the Soul Survivor, this time around on Mousesports, but a very clean fight for NiP, and they're going to keep this push going now. Anti-Mage, that main style in full.
They got really lucky. Mickey got follow-up, or rather Trixie was able to get 2 heroes with the skewer. He only was able to successfully RP the IO, but while kebabbing 2 heroes, brought them into a Mickey LSA, and if Mickey didn't connect that LSA, again, we would have seen a repeat of that mid lane fight, but with that LSA locking down Slark long enough, and then Rubik stealing the Fiend's Grip, which there's literally nothing Banes can do about that unless you get like a Linken's or the Glimmer Cape, or the Aether Lens, like I said, to maybe be out of range, but This is a very, very poor Bane, and he's working on the Glimmer Cape, but it's a long ways away, and a lot of damage has already been done since Darkseer was basically out of commission for that fight during the Rubik's stolen Fiend's Grip.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that's really
Gone.
That close, but not really, because again, as he has that Manta style, to mention here, it's just such a good getaway tool, especially against this crowd control of Mousesports, or lack thereof, really. So, yeah, this Anti-Mage is going to be so difficult, that on top of the -1 second blink cooldown as we were just talking about before that fight. So this is a very mobile, very slippery Anti-Mage. And now he's going to have a Basher next in line, so his aggressive powers, his offensive powers even, are also pretty scary. That with the Empower buff to top it all off.
Yeah, he demolishes targets in no time at all. They may think about doing Roche soon. Trixie has RP in about 5 seconds, and the team fight potential of Mousesports is still intimidating. You always have to be concerned about Blink Vacuum, and relocate follow-up, or not Blink Vacuum, as Skylark did not go for Blink Dagger. He's actually going pure survivability, which I can understand, but yeah, the team fight is still intimidating for Mouse, assuming they get the good initiation that they want, but Trixie is making that increasingly difficult. Again, like, we're only seeing one hero RPs, and yet NiP is still confidently winning these fights.
He again, and look at this flank here, smoked up. He's gonna get a couple. He gets both the Bane and the Ever Spirit, and at least Bane's gonna die. Thug will gonna return slide of fifth, and then back on top of that. But Ever Spirit's been locked in by the Fiend's Grip, I believe. That Rubik's still, but Rubik will go down. He's a little bit too close to that fight, and they also lose the Magnus. And right now, Slaughter, he's kind of left alone in the midst of it as well. He too will go down. Era has to make his way out of there. Lena was not there. That's so key. Obviously, that's so much damage they're missing out on if he's not there. So nice turn for Mousesports. They 3 for nothing, but a decent RP opening.
Yeah, they could have taken those 2 kills and gotten out, but nope, Megara.
Shadow Dance at least, and not get him to pulling way.
Oh, they're going in. Relocate.
Oh, they really are. They're going to catch Mickey, actually. Pops that new Shadow Blade of his.
Oh, we're...
Yes, they have the ammo. Eventually goes down. So he's there for 20 seconds. He chose to get that minus respawn time count, at least. Gonna be up pretty quickly here.
Are fortified. Radiant's middle
Yeah, Mousesports, it was, I don't really know if that Bane buyback was necessary, but it was a good idea for them to actually take the fight. Usually after you just blow 2 heroes like that, you're like, oh god, we need to panic and run, but they stick around. Trixie is gonna get Fiend's gripped. Stolen.
In, but now actually, Slark is in trouble. Yeah, he mentioned Fiend's Grip again. Stolen though, and there goes a kill onto Slark. However, Fiend's Grip's still on cooldown for the Rubik, but it doesn't matter in this case. I also take it off, and Mousesports definitely overstaying their welcome. Down goes the Bane as well. Nice bash rock coming out from Era. And they're going to chase him with the Ever Spirit. Here's that Remnant. Nice 3 chains. And he's going to go zip zap around.
He still needs to run. He has no remnants. NiP has Shadow Blade in 5 seconds.
Blink.
Oh, they're going to keep going. Yeah, wait for it.
Oh, he woke that just on the outskirts. And that should be a dead Ember now. Skewer forward and down he goes. So great pursuit from NiP. Just when it seems like Mouse, you know, they finally win like a decent fight. Like before, NiP comes back in the next one though, and comes back even stronger.
Anti-Mage is too large. He is like 6k net worth on top of the Slark. And if you had killed the Anti-Mage, then you would have been able to get a lot of work done. But if AM is up, then that means that he doesn't have to wait for his extremely long respawn, because he's level 21 right now. If they had managed to pick him off, then there's no way NiP would have felt confident for that retaliation near their mid-tier 2, but Trixie was like, whatever, let's go for it. Miss a skewer, get Fiend's Grip, doesn't matter. Our Anti-Mage is devastatingly large, now has Aegis on top of that. You can take a good portion of fights, and NiP are a solid 11k net worth up in general, so yeah, one lost fight here and there. It's not that dramatic, but their high ground siege is where it's going to have to really show how strong they are.
Remember, he has the
oh man, he has Fiend's Grip.
There we go, he's going to use it right here, locking down the Slark. Slark immobilize for himself. However, the relocate out, well played by the IO. Yeah, the follow-up damage just wasn't enough. IO's going to be ported back though, and that could get interesting. He will have a leash.
Yeah, NiP's waiting. Misses it.
To time it. And they still get him there with the left, and look at him like committed for the kill. So IO will be out for the next 45 seconds right here. Yields on the Ember, keeping Anti-Mage alive. He does have the Aegis, but they don't want to waste it here. We're gonna retreat now. So yeah, why not just regroup and rebuild your life full on it, especially, and look to go back in with that Aegis.
Yeah, plus Insanio almost has a Blink Dagger completed on this Rubik, and it was a good Fiend Script setup, but the problem is they didn't have, like, ideally Trixie would have been in position to just skewer some that Slark back and then drag him way out of tether or relocate range, but yeah, Io was patiently waiting. Spartan gives up his life, but almost certainly worth it to save that Slark.
Networth lead, it was impressive earlier on for the anti-mage, it's just not much more. Perhaps more expected though, as the game picks up, of course. 20,000 net worth overall for him. 7,000 lead over the next one in line, being that Slark. Very impressive lead. Feels like it's getting to a big 10 to all stats now. Doesn't even go the evasion, doesn't need it here. Real stats. Even.
Yo, doesn't even need bounty runes. He's like, you want this rune? You want a little complete your little blink dagger? I'll let you do it. I'll grace you with my what's that word that kings use? Yeah.
Anti-mage. I'm also curious when it gets to level 25. By curious, I mean I'm sure it's gonna be 25 agility, but minus 50-second cooldown. That makes it a 20-second cooldown mana point. That seems like that could potentially be pretty fun, but
maybe if against like a Storm Spirit. That's like the trap that so many Terrorblades fall into with their Sunder thing. Like by the time you're 25, how many times are you really going to be able to use your ult in a team fight? Every single time I see Sunder cooldown taken at 25 by Terrorblades, it's almost certainly I see them get chain stunned to infinity and don't even Sunder once, let alone twice. So yeah, I mean, then again, Era is so far ahead that, I mean, hell, you could go for the Mana Void cooldown and just, like, siege with your illusions, as Mike actually dies to Slark in the mid lane with a relocate gank set up with Thug.
Yeah, that happened pretty quickly. Ember Spirit just went right in and then relocate right on top. Good execution from Mousesports there. But Lena's already back up again. She does have the Bloodstone now, so that's kind of unfortunate how that was used right away. Works very quick there with the talent. Meanwhile, bottom lane anti-mage working initially, but gets the blink out of the wall. The backing comes out. It's Zania, but only a Zania, and he will fall, but really not the most casualties against for NiP. Should be retreating though, unless we're kind of setting up for a return fight here. RP is ready for Magnus.
I mean, Lena's up, but I still don't know about this.
They do catch somebody, they catch the Bane in the back line. So now it's a even fight at 4 versus 4.
Yeah, anti-mage has Aegis still.
Darkseer, meanwhile, Darkseer, the mana point, not enough for the kill initially. Look for the chase, was going to play the RP, will secure it. In the Madara, though, now doing some good damage back on Era. Era just about dead, but he's not going to fall, however. The Shenanigans not going to save Slark for the time being. Those auto attacks are right clicks from Mickey. Doing way too much, and he goes down to the It's obviously the Aegis is popping out. Doug, he needs to run. He can't really run successfully, though. The Eels goes in the air. Going to Remnant 4, but they were ready for that. The Slark crush on top, the Crows of Phase, and down goes Ember Spirit. Their cores are dead for a good minute plus here. Easily at least one set of racks.
And they actually are going for mid. Problem is backdoor protection is still up and running, and mid creep wave is long ways away. Bot creep wave was slowly getting pushed out by, I believe, Wall of Replica illusions, and so they have to buy back Io. Uh-oh. Mid lane. You are dead, Spartan.
Distracting, I guess.
As is Bane.
I mean, it seems like that's what they were doing right there. Yeah, just trying to keep the lane pushed if anything, distract, but they're just gonna go for you, actually. I mean, yeah, anime just getting
it was pretty over. It's a pub GG, but you know, I mean, NiP just came out of like a 70-minute match. Maybe they want to show respect and be like, all right, you guys beat us. It was a solid 33 minutes. We tried some kind of draft. I still don't know where the Bane was. You know, like, what the mentality was for picking the Bane, but it didn't work, and NiP take a pretty decisive game 1.
If anything, it almost hurt because of the... you can't really hide that ability because channeling it.